Good evening, believers. How are we doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, you don't know what it is I do. I am a love coach specifically for women who are trying to stay and heal and reconcile after infidelity. Yes, I know. Once a cheater, always a cheater is what they say. However, I am here to tell you that that's not always the case. I am 17 years past my last D Day. Hey, Lori. And I have found that guess what? They don't always go back and cheat again. They don't always continue to cheat forever. That is just not true. Once a cheater, always a cheater is not a thing. We're not always anything, but regardless, I know for certain that we can get to a place where we're not worried about that, where we are not concerned about that anymore. Hey, girl, I'm glad you're here. All right, so we are going to talk a little bit about how we're going to heal from this and what actually are we healing from, right? What is actually going on that we have to heal from? Why does that make it so hard, right? And I'm here to tell you, like I tell you every single week, you are healing from a trauma. This is a trauma. This is something bad that happened to you and it affected you physically, not just mentally, not just in your head. And even if it was just in your head is part of your body. All right. Oh, thank you, girl. I appreciate it. I just washed and conditioned my hair. I'm feeling good. Oh man, we have got to recognize though. We've got to recognize that this is a trauma. If we don't start to treat it like a trauma and start to actually work on the pieces that we need to work on to heal from a trauma, it's just going to reinforce itself in our brains. People say all the time that you should just leave. But the thing is, if you just leave, okay, you still got to do this healing. This healing still has to come about whether you stay or whether you go. The same exact thing has to happen. Your body and your brain feel like you are under attack. It won't matter if you leave this person. That feeling is not going to leave you just because you left the person. Your brain actually will be reinforced in that. It will say, oh, see, yes, he was a danger. We need to stay away from him and everybody else like him. And so then everybody else becomes like him. Then you don't end up being able to be in a good relationship anymore. It's a lot, okay? We have got to start to treat it like the trauma that it is, actually healing from it, and then you can make your decision. If you get to the end of the healing and you don't want to stay, okay, fine. If they just weren't your person, I get it. But if you think they might be your person and you know you have to heal anyway, why not stay? Why not try and work it out? Why not try and see if you can get to a better place in the relationship before you throw it all away? All right. And I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I think that you are absolutely correct in your assessment of this relationship. If you feel like this is a person who's worthy to you, you feel like, hey, I love him. I think that he's worthy of this healing, this trying that I'm gonna do. All right. Just go ahead and go with that. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. I believe that you understand what you're talking about if you think this is the person who is worth this effort. Okay? But more than anything, you're worth the effort. You are worth the effort of not hurting anymore. You don't have to keep doing that. You don't have to keep worrying. You don't have to keep feeling so anxious, so angry, so hurt all the time. You don't have to do that. You can start to leave that feeling behind, put the bags down, and get on with your life. You can do that and you are allowed to do that. Just because you are hurt does not mean you have to live the rest of your life in that hurt. Okay? All right. So, if you're here with me now, go ahead and give me some likes, give me some love. Let me know you're in the place with me today. All right. So, the first thing that I'm always going to tell you every time we get together is I need you to be doing your deep breathing. This is key number one way to treat this like a trauma and actually do something about it. Doing your deep breathing is the opposite breathing that, that you do when you are freaked out, when you are having that fight or flight response, when you are triggered, when you are going off. Your breathing is much more shallow. It is just sipping in the air and barely letting out any excess carbon dioxide. It's thrown off. When you slow your breathing down on purpose, slow it down, get it back under your control. You send the message to your brain that you're actually safe. There's actually nothing around that's going to eat me. I'm okay. I am safe. I can take care of myself. I don't see anything that needs to be concerning right now. Yes, that's my honey. Yeah, he did mess up, but this is still a person I love. I feel comfortable around this person because I'm breathing. See how easily I am breathing in and out of this body? When you do that, you consistently show your brain that you are okay. And then you start to believe it because your brain starts to believe it. Okay. So we do deep breathing and a 4-7-8 pattern. You can do whatever pattern you please, as long as you are doing it 5 times in a row, 5 times a day. Okay. We need to be doing this consistently to start to get off that emotional roller coaster, to start regulating our emotions, start picking ourselves back up off the floor. We need to start having a consistent practice of doing our deep breathing so that we can keep our bodies nice and calm, keep our brains a little more sharp. Okay. All right. So we do 4-7-8. What we do is blow out. Try and deflate your lungs. Get all of that out if you possibly can. Then you're going to inhale through your nose if you can for a count of 4. I'm going to hold that breath for a count of 7. And then we're going to blow out like we're blowing out an entire cake full of birthday candles for a count of 8. Now, when you blow out, make the noise. Make the whooshing sound of the air leaving your lungs. You can create a good trigger for your brain that when you hear that sound, your brain is going to know, oh, she thinks everything is okay. She has scanned the area. There are no saber-toothed tigers out here to eat us right now. Lovely. We are all right. You can create that trigger in your brain, okay? And we're going to do this for the sake of time. We're going to do it 3 times together, but like I said, 5 times in a row. If you need me to guide you through it, go to my YouTube. It says Start Here and Breathe, and you can just go ahead and let me walk you through it. It's about halfway through that. It's like a 2-minute video, so it's like halfway through the video. All right. So first thing we're going to do is blow out. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. I'm so glad you're here to join me for your deep breathing. Kendra, thank you for coming out, doing your deep breathing. It feels good, doesn't it? How does it feel when you're doing your deep breathing? When you're doing it, it should start to clear up your brain a little bit. Even if you start to get a little sleepy, that's fine. It should be a physical change. Something in your body should feel differently after you do your deep breathing. Put it in the comments and tell me how it is that you feel once you do it. And if you're on the replay too, hashtag replay and tell me, how does it feel inside your body when you are doing your deep breathing? And then once you get finished with it, how does it feel then? All right. And that was just 3 times in a row. If you do it 5 times a day, you're going to really feel it. All right. That's why I want you to do it like that. I want you to be consistent with it so that you can feel it and feel that difference in your body from I'm freaking out to no, I'm calm and in control of myself. When you start to experience that, then you will start to recognize when you're slipping off into losing control a whole lot faster. Okay. Second thing that we're going to talk about every time we get together is doing your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? I need you to do that. Okay. Twice a day, 5 minutes tops. You don't have to sit there and write an entire book, but you do need to write something. Okay. Put your feelings down, thoughts the stuff that bubbles over at the top of your mind, the first few things that you like that come into your awareness, put those things down. Just jot down notes about them. You don't have to get all intimately detailed with it. You don't have to do that. I do need you to do your date, your time, your level of anxiety. Date and time is going to be so that you, when you go back and you read through this journal, you will have forgotten. Okay. If you write stuff down and you wait for about a month and a half and you are working on this steadily along and you go back and read something that you wrote a whole month ago, you're not even going to remember writing it. You're going to be like, did I it even looks like my handwriting, because in the midst of the trauma, your memory is terrible. So if you're writing down the dates and the times, you can see when those things hit you, when you're feeling like you need to write something down, when you are about to explode and you just need to go ahead and get some of it out. You will see the patterns in the dates and the times. It will let you know when the triggers are. Okay, it will let you know so that you can do something about it before it hits you instead of waiting for it to hit you. Okay, we're going to do our daytime, and then we're going to do a level of anxiety. Level of anxiety is 0 to 10. 0 is no anxiety whatsoever. You are wonderful. All is right with the world. Okay, then there is a 10. A 10 is a loss of control. 10 is I want to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. Okay. Two totally different sides, but that's as big as it can get. It can't get any bigger than a 10. If you are having a 0 day, write that down. 0, 1, you're feeling pretty good. Write that down. Put a star in the corner of that page so that you can come back and you can see that actually I've had some pretty good days. And if you are at a 10, you are not writing that down in the moment. If you are feeling like you are at a 10, you are probably not in control of yourself enough to sit down and write in your journal. If you have brought yourself down to a level where you think you could sit down and you could start writing in your journal, you're not a 10 anymore. All right. That's as big and bad as this feeling can get. It cannot get any worse than that. So if you can drag yourself down just a point, just enough to get in control of a pen and paper, you are already, just with your journaling, brought yourself out of losing control of yourself to, okay, a little bit better place, a little bit more stable than you were. All right. And that is a beautiful thing. That's the thing about the journaling. By the time you write it down and then you get to the end of that and you evaluate what your anxiety level is at the end of your journaling session, you'll realize that, oh, it's better. It's actually, I wasn't 9 when I started. I had to drag myself to that. But I'm like at a 7 now. I got some of it out. I didn't even tell anybody else. I just wrote it down. It works. Okay. It works. Try it. Okay. Let's see. What else do I need to tell you about that? Just twice a day, first thing in the morning and right before you go to bed. It will get a lot of stuff out of your brain before you go to bed if you're having a hard time sleeping. If you do it first thing in the morning, it kind of focuses you. You can anticipate things going wrong, going well. You can write that stuff down first thing in the morning and anticipate what your day is going to be like. So it's a very handy tool. This one's mine right here. I write in this bad boy every day right now, slowly filling it up. I have tons and tons of them that I filled up. But I write something down, something about what's going on with me, what's going on with my day, things that I want to remember. I jot it all down, and now I can just flip back, and it's like I have my brain right there in front of me in my journal. All right. All right. Next thing that we are always going to talk about, I need you to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Okay. I need you to work on that. I need you to be focused on that. I need you to be thinking about that. I need you to really, really, really think about it, because I know this feels like this is just the worst thing that could possibly happen in your entire life. But I have had a house fire. A friend of mine just had a house fire last weekend. Okay. Condemned. All of a sudden, don't have a home anymore. All right. So you got to put this into perspective. Okay. You got to just pull yourself back and think about things that you can be grateful for instead of how terrible things are. We don't want to focus on how terrible things are. And that is a trauma response. That is your body responding to trauma. All it can think about is how bad things can be, how much worse they could get. All right. I never say, oh, it could get worse. Oh, I never say that. That is a terrible thing to say out loud. But I am not looking for worse. I am looking for better. And when you start to intentionally make your brain look for things to be grateful for, it's not so big of a jump into, oh, things that I'm just thrilled about, I'm so happy about, I'm just content and joyous about, because it's hard to get there from the misery of being cheated on. So we've got to look for an intermediate step, and gratitude is that step. You can't argue with yourself not to be grateful that you have a roof over your head. You cannot sit there and lie to yourself and tell yourself that that's not a good thing. That is something that you can be grateful for. You write it down. All right. Every little thing that you can be grateful for, write it down. All right. Consistently doing that, making it a habit, putting it in your journal every single day. Just anytime you find something, you're like, oh, I'm grateful that's in the world. Put it down so that you can come back to it, so that you can dwell on it, so that you can lift yourself up with it. And so that your brain will start to recognize that you are not looking for things that went wrong, you are looking for things that went right. So you are training your brain to stop doing the trauma response and start doing something more healthy and something more useful to you. Okay. So I do Thirsty Thursday just for that. If you're with me right now, I don't have anybody on the post, but if you're with me right now, put something in the comments that you are grateful for, something that you are like, I am so glad this is in the world. I'm so glad that this exists. I am so happy that this is in my life. Whatever it is, put it in the comments. I will shout you out because I love to share the good stuff. I hear bad stuff all the time. As a coach, I hear people talking about bad things happening to them all the time. I love to hear the good stuff. I love to be able to hear it and then share it so that you all know that even in the midst of the trauma, good things still do happen. Things that you can be grateful for still exist even with the trauma. If you can start to see that, you can start to defeat the trauma. If you just listen to the trauma that everything is awful all the time, everything will be awful all the time. That's what will happen. That's the only thing your brain is looking for. So that's the only thing your brain will find. But if you are consistently looking for something to be grateful for, something that will warm your heart, something that will make you feel like, oh, I'm so glad that is here on this planet, you are going to start seeing those things more often. Your brain is going to be like, well, okay, well, you were grateful for this. What about this thing right here? I think you could be grateful for that too. It seems like this would be a thing to be grateful for. It will offer you up suggestions. Okay. Whatever you tell your brain to look for, it will try to find for you and try to give to you. So if you're consistently looking for the good, it will start serving you the good instead of that. All right. Marie, hi Marie. You said, what if things that you're grateful for never really changes? That's another thing to be grateful for. If you got something you know you are grateful for, but it doesn't even change and it's consistent, that's another thing to be grateful for. Well, thank God it's consistent. Thank God these things keep coming up in my life. So I repeatedly have good in my life. Even if it's the same thing, so what? It's a stable gratitude. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. You could be stable in that gratitude. You know that this piece of information is going to be true here now and in the future. I am going to be grateful for this until the ends of time. It's a beautiful thing. I'm glad that it happened to me. I'm glad that it's in my life. If you keep on looking, even if you are just trying, oh, this is the regular stuff. I'm grateful for the oxygen I breathe. I'm grateful for my home. Don't let that just be, oh, I just have that, because you might not have that. It will come a time where you will not have oxygen in your lungs. There will come a time where you won't have, well, unfortunately, some people go through it, that where they don't have a home. All right. So you will experience like really not having those things at some point. Things always change. The cycle always goes on, and there's always something to replace the things that you lost. So if you got stuff that's pretty stable, we are happy about stability. And when those things pass and new good things come, we are happy for the change. We are grateful for the change. You try and look for the gratitude in everything. And the thing is, if you can find it in the negative, you say you get bored of it though. All right, I got a bigger challenge for you. Try and find the thing to be grateful for in the negative. The things that are going on that you're not happy about. All right. Try to find a reason why it's still a good thing that it's happening to you. Because I wasn't able to do it with the cheating until like I started helping women. Like you know what, the cheating was gone. Okay, it had gone on, and then I was healing from it, and then I was helping couples. And I was realizing that all the couples that I was working with had been cheated on. And I was like, girl, same. Like, dude, you were never able to let that go. Let me tell you about how to let that go. And I was able to start telling them that. And then that's how I got laser focused on being able to tell this, because I had a story to tell. It was devastation. It was trauma. It was a bad thing that happened. However, out of it came the ability to be able to tell other people how not to hurt anymore. Well, damn. Okay. All right. I had to hurt for a few years for me to be able to help thousands of women not hurt. Okay. All right. I'm grateful for that. I can be grateful for that. I can be grateful that the pain happened to me and that I was able to come here and I get to tell you all how to get out of pain every single day. I love that. I love being able to do that. So I'm grateful that it did happen to me just because of what it does for me to be able to help you. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing to me. I think that it is brilliant that I get to help you in this way, that I get to share my story, that I get to tell you how to get out of this hole. Yeah, I can be grateful for that. So, Marie, try that. Try that. If you're bored of your regular good stuff, all right, try and find the good things in the bad things. Try and find the things to be grateful for in the worst of circumstances. Try and find it. As you are working on finding it, you are changing your brain. Your brain on this trauma gets kind of stuck in default of everything is horrible mode. But if you are even in the baddest of situations, you are turning your brain to the task of finding a good thing in that bad thing, your brain will start to develop new connections. And so when a bad situation comes up again, it will remember that you were looking for the good in the bad the last time. Let me see if I can find the good in the bad this time. Let me see if I can find something to be grateful for in this moment, even in the worst of situations. Because that's what she was doing last time. That's what her brain was working on last time. If you can start to do that, I'm trying to tell you, it changes everything. If you can really start to focus on trying to be grateful for all the littlest things around you, and then working up to the big things, and then working up to the horrible things, if you can find the gratitude in every level of that, your brain starts to change for the better. Okay? It's healing. It's healing. We got to create new connections in our brains. All right. It is a physical thing that is happening. And that is what we are doing when we are looking for things to be grateful for. When we are doing our journaling, we are creating new pathways in our brain to be able to handle this situation in a better way. Hey, Carissa. Glad to see you over there on Instagram, girl. You got anything that you're grateful for? Put it in the comments. All right. The last thing that I'm always going to tell you every single week, I need you to stop asking all those questions. Okay. I understand. I understand you want to ask the questions. I understand that it is a trauma response to ask all those questions, right? Your brain is telling you, I have to know the answer if I'm going to heal. If we are going to heal ever, we have to know the answer to every detail of what happened, every lie told, every bit of the truth has to come out. It has to be transparent for you to heal. That is a lie. It is a lie. Your brain is lying to you. It is not real. It is not. If you left him and you just walked out the door and you left this whole relationship behind you, you would not have access to him to answer all those questions. So, guess what? You would still have to find a way to heal. All right. So, you can heal just fine without asking all those questions. The questions are interrogating him, trying to find out the most that you can know about this threat. Your brain is saying he's a threat. He hurt me. He hurt us. We have got to treat him like a threat. So interrogate him. Ask him all the questions. Figure out what was going on in his brain. What is happening in his mind that would make him do such a thing to us so we can prevent this from ever happening again. Okay. Great idea is never going to happen. All right. You can't predict what somebody's going to do. People who do the right things all the time will turn around and go ahead and cheat. People do the wrong thing because they are going through something. It doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing. So if they are hell-bent on cheating, you knowing all these answers is not going to help you. It's not going to help them not cheat. It's not going to do that. So we've got to accept that. And we've got to stop our brain from asking all those questions because it becomes a loop in your brain. Have you noticed that? If you start asking the questions, then you can't stop asking the question. And no answer to the question is good enough. No answer is what you want to hear. And it's just worse and worse and worse and keep spiraling and spiraling and spiraling down, down, down. Yeah, we got to stop that. Okay. It is a trauma response. It is not real. You do not have to keep doing this to yourself. All right. But I understand it's a trauma response and it's very difficult to ignore a trauma response. So I will give you a replacement in place of that. Try this out. The And, THEAND, by the good people at the Skin Deep. If you go ahead and go on Amazon, it's like $30 on Amazon. Excellent game. It's like 199 questions. You ask questions back and forth to you and your honey. It is a way of being connected instead of trying to cause a fight because of what happened. You know, that bitterness, that anger is rising to the surface as you're talking about what he did. You will actually be connecting on a better level, and then you can get closer instead of pushing away. All right. Marie said, dang, finding the silver lining, that's harder. I'll work on that. Good. If you're bored with all the good, wonderful things in your life, well, bless you, first of all. But if you are so bored of the good things, try it for the bad things. Try it then and see if you can actually make your brain find that good thing in the bad thing. All right. But I will give you a few of these questions that you can ask instead of the questions that you want to ask. You stop asking about him cheating, okay? Stop asking about all the details. Stop asking about what he was thinking. Stop asking about what he was feeling. He was feeling bad. He was not feeling himself. He was feeling in a position where he was doing something stupid and he knew he was doing something stupid. You can't feel good if you do that. If you are purposely doing something you know is wrong, you don't feel good. You don't feel good. It's not a wonderful thing. It's not all romantic and happy. It is, I am feeling bad. I am trying to use this person to make myself feel better. And it's probably not working. Right? It probably worked for a little while. It gave a little dopamine hit, a little testosterone hit. But after that, like the pain is still there. Whatever pain made this seem like a good idea had to be some pretty deep pain, right? So, you know, once they come up from the hormones, the pain is still there. All right. So instead of the questions that you want to ask, let me give you a few. First one is, what's one experience you wish we can share together in the next year? Ooh, yay, from springtime to springtime. What do you want to do that in this year we can share this lovely experience together? Well, I like that. That's a good one. All right, next one says, what's one thing you never would have done if it weren't for me? Ooh, I want to ask my husband that one. I'm asking him that. What's one thing you never would have done if it weren't for me? Don't you want to know the answer to that question more than you want to know what positions they had sex in? What hotel room they were in? Like, wouldn't this be a better question to ask? Would it make you feel better to know the answer to What's one thing you never would have done if it weren't for me? How you changed his life? Wouldn't you rather know that than the ones you've been thinking about? I think so. I would rather know that. And one more for the road. What is a value we do not share in common, and why do you think that is? That one might be a little touchy situation, a little touchy conversation, but definitely more about connecting, more about finding out more about your partner. So, what is a value we do not share in common, and why do you think that is? Good question. Better than the questions that are going through your brain from the trauma. We got to stop listening to the trauma. That's the whole thing. That is the main thing about what I want to tell you. Don't listen to what the trauma is saying. Most of the time, it's lying. Most of the time, it's trying to make everything seem worse than it is so that you hide. The trauma does not want you to heal. The trauma wants you to hide. It wants you to go and be in a little ball in a corner, in a hole, and just go ahead and live there. Just unpack and live there. Don't be close to anybody else because other people could hurt you. And we're not going to live a life like that, are we? We're not going to do that. We're not going to live a life where we are scared to be around people, where we are scared to put our hearts out there. That's dumb. We shouldn't have to do that just because somebody cheated. That's way too big of a reaction for that happening. We've got to go ahead and put ourselves out there, open our hearts up, and try and get rid of that trauma reaction so that that's not ruling our lives every day. Okay? All right. So that's the basics. I got some more stuff to talk about because this week we were talking last week about the dreams formula, about the D of the dreams formula, making the decision to move on from this pain, from this trauma, to get past it. But this week, we are talking very well about the next step, the recognizing the fear speech that is going on inside your brain and the fear speech that you are getting from other people. All right. We've got to start to recognize that. And I put in the group, in the Love After Cheating group, it's pinned to the top. It is how anxiety, how fear, how pain are affecting your body physically. And I put that in there so you can make sure that you see this. Look it over, okay? Take a moment and then look at all these things that happen all over our entire bodies when we are having this anxiety, when we're having this fight or flight. That is fear. It is a fearful response. The fear is saying that I've got to either run or I've got to fight. So it is actually changing the way your blood flows around your body to your big muscle groups, to your arms, to your legs, to be able to fight or to be able to run away real fast. So if you take a look at it, you can find out why your chest is hurting like that, why your lungs feel like they're going to collapse, why it feels like your heart is beating out of your chest, why it feels like you can't swallow. It's all in that PDF. And if you want a copy of the PDF, just go ahead and message me. I will send you one. All right. But that is what the effect of the fear is on your body. It is a real physical thing that is happening. That's why it feels so terrible, is because it's real. It's physical. It is happening to you. Okay. So we've got to start recognizing when we feel that fear. And that's a huge part of being able to deal with the triggers and all that. Your body will tell you that you are feeling fearful before your brain recognizes that you are triggered. So if you start paying attention to your body, scan your body while you're doing your deep breathing five times a day, scan your body, scan head to toe, all the way up and down. What is happening here? What is going on? How am I feeling? Is my heart feeling like it's jumping out of my chest? Do my ribs hurt? Where am I experiencing some kind of discomfort in my body? I feel like I can't swallow. I feel like there's a rock in my throat. All those things are signs that you are already triggered. Your body is already going into fight or flight. You got adrenaline pumping through your system and you didn't even realize it yet. So if you can recognize those feelings inside your body and know, okay, wait, that thing with my heart is happening again. Something must have triggered me. I must feel some kind of way. What is going on? And you start searching in the recent past. Okay, what happened? then you'll be able to determine what the trigger is and then calm yourself back down for the trigger. Once you know what it is, and then you can be like, okay, do my deep breathing, do a little journaling. I'm going to go to my honey and I'm going to get a hug and just let him hold me tight for a little while until I can start to help regulate this feeling and it start to go away. You can make a plan if you know that it's happening. If your body is already starting to feel that discomfort and you don't pay any attention and you let it get to your conscious mind that you are freaking out, you're well past the point where you can really easily calm it down. You are already out there. So it's harder at that point to calm back down, to get yourself back centered. So if you can do it when you just feel it in your body instead of your brain screaming at you, you will be able to calm yourself down way faster, feel way less fearful, not be upset as much. Okay. All right. So that's the first thing you need to know about that fear speech. What is happening when you're doing the fear speech is everything that your brain is saying, other people's brains are saying about this trauma. Whatever the trauma is, your brain will blame you for it, will blame the other person for it, will say that you're a victim and he's a perpetrator, and that is the only roles that you have ever had in the whole wide world. Your brain will tell you all these things and start screaming these things at you like, oh, he never really loved you, and you weren't his last first kiss, and it will start to just give you these twisted thoughts about, well, this is what the relationship should have been like, and you don't have that, so you don't have a real relationship. It will keep feeding you things to make you want to back away. That is what your brain is doing. That is what the fear speech is. It's your monster, your trauma monster speaking to you. It is in your ear. It is consistent. It is very persistent. It is telling you that you are to blame, as is the other person, as is the entire world. And you are just such a naive creature that you can't handle a relationship and you should just run away real fast. It's a whole thing. All right. You will find that other people's trauma monsters will speak to yours. Have you tried to get help from somebody and then they're saying the exact same stuff that you're saying? They're freaking you out because they're saying the same thing. It's echoing back from your brain what they're saying. You're like, oh yeah, but once a cheater, always a cheater. And if I let him back, if you let him back in, then he's just gonna do it again. They're saying those things to you, and so it feels like it's reinforced. It feels like, oh, it must be real. That must be what's going to happen. He is going to tell me something awful. He's going to do something awful to me because this other person is reinforcing it to me. That is just because you got fears alike, okay? The same fears come up with every person if they've been betrayed. I'm not good enough. This person doesn't really love me. It's a whole thing. It always is the same no matter what person you talk to, okay? You've got to get, if you want to get somebody to help you, you have to get somebody to help you and be like, okay, wait. What do you mean once a cheater, always a cheater? Okay, he wasn't always a cheater. You know what I mean? He'll be all right. He can stop doing that. You don't have to believe that. You need somebody to tell you that. You need somebody to reinforce that. And if you don't have somebody to reinforce that to you, you need to start recognizing when your brain is screaming that more than likely it's trying to lie to you and call it out. Tell it that it's lying. Tell it that that's not true. No, I do not believe that somebody is just always anything. That's just impossible on its face. I don't think that's the case. So you start to argue with that monster that is arguing with you, that is screaming inside your brain. Start questioning everything it says, because if you feel terrible in the moment when it's happening, it's probably a lie. It's probably not true at all. All right. Marie said, what if you're trying to find out what's going on in his brain? Stop that. That just makes you more afraid. You're only trying to find out what's happening in his brain so that you can, okay, it's twofold. Your brain will tell you that if you know what's happening in his brain, then you can be safe. You will not have to worry about it because you will understand exactly what was going on in his brain, and you will never have to worry about not knowing that he's cheating again. That's not real. Okay, your brain will tell you that it's not real. It's not gonna happen like that. Even if you knew what was going on in his brain, you still couldn't stop him from doing it again. So those two things have absolutely nothing to do with each other, but your brain will tell you that you need to know what's in his brain. But as far as like what's going on in his brain, do you really care? That was the other thing. Do you really care? Are you really caring about what's happening in his brain because because you care about him or because you care about you? Is it because I want to know more information so that I can be safe, or do you actually care about what is going on inside his brain? You can't get to the place of really caring about what's happening in his brain, because that's the key thing. You can know what's going on in somebody's brain, but you actually have to care about it for it to make any difference. So to get to the point of actually caring about it, you have to calm yourself down, get yourself off of asking all those questions, get yourself regulated so that you can get back into the place where you're not in survival mode. Survival mode does not allow you to give a damn about what his brain is thinking. Survival mode is all about me. Me. I don't care about you. So to be able to care about him, you got to get out of survival mode first. Trying to do it backwards just leads to more anxiety, because what your brain is actually doing is interrogating him, not really caring about what's going on in his brain. Does that make sense? It's the fear. It's the fear talking and saying, oh, but you care, so you must know. No, it's just trying to fool you into asking a whole bunch of questions and interrogating him and beating down his walls and doing too much, trying to find some answer that will make you feel like it's okay for you to stay. Like, you don't even have to go through all that. You don't have to know what's going on in his brain to know what you want to do, to be able to follow through with your own plan. You don't have to know what's going on in his brain. You just have to act like the person that you want to be. If you want this relationship to work out and you want to be happy together, you want to be loving, then you have to start working on being that person. All right? Don't worry about what he's doing. That is completely pointless. When you behave in the way that is in alignment with the things that you want, the things that you want come. All right? You don't have to concern yourself with what he's thinking right now. That is not your business. If you want your life to look a certain way, you have to figure out how you would look in that life and start behaving in that way. Doesn't have a thing to do with him. Okay? Does that make sense? I know that's a difficult one because it feels like, well, what but him? But that's what we were talking about last week with the decision. You make up your mind. You put in your head what your end result is going to be, and then okay, work your way backwards. Figure out, okay, how am I then? I am happy. I am easygoing. I am trusting. I'm not checking. I'm not freaking out. I'm not constantly wondering what is in his head. I feel comfortable knowing exactly what is going on with him, and he expresses himself beautifully. That is the future that I'm going towards. So I'm going to start acting like that person now. When you start doing that, when you change the things around you. So what his brain is doing right now doesn't have anything to do with anything. It does not have to do with you getting to the place that you want to get. It does not have anything to do with you ever overcoming your fears either. If you are so worried about what's going on in his brain, you're fearful. You are afraid. You are like, if I don't know what's going on in his brain, something bad could happen to me. You can't live like that. You have to stop doing that to yourself, because it's not working, is it? I know you've been doing it for a minute, haven't you, Marie? You're trying to figure out what's going on in his brain. Has that worked? Has that made you feel good? Has that made it easier for you to be comfortable in the situation? Probably not. If you're still struggling with it, it hasn't been working. If it was working, you would know for sure. You would be feeling like, okay, I got a good handle on this. I'm moving forward. But you're not moving forward if you're constantly thinking about, well, what's going on in your brain? What are you thinking right now? Wait, are you thinking about her? Are you thinking you should have stayed with her? No. Stop doing that to yourself. You're not actually caring about what's going on in his head. You want to find some more ammunition. You want to check and make sure that he is thinking about you and not thinking about her. It's not selfless. It's not loving. It's just not. So don't do it. Right? Tend to yourself. Tend to your own business. All right. If you work with me, Tell them how many times I would tell you, tend to your own business, tend to your part. All right. I will say it to you over and over and over again if you work with me. Tend to your part. That's all you need to worry about. Okay. So, and speaking of, if you do want to work with me, go ahead and send me a message. I am taking some people for tech support. If you want to have me for about 60 days, and you can text with me endlessly. You can text me all you want to, and I'll give you some advice. You can send me screenshots about what's happening with your honey. I can tell you what to say, and we can meet. We meet at the first and the last of the at the meetings. You can work with me for 60 days. I will help you. I will help you figure out what is fear speech, what is just your brain saying what you should be afraid of, and then what is really what you want from your life. And you can sort that out a little bit, and then okay, put the fear to the side and start really focusing on what you want. Your life starts changing. Things start going much better. You have a much easier time in your relationship. If you keep on worrying about what fear says, it will lead you the wrong way every time. It's like we're lost in the woods. I am going to point you to the path. I'm going to tell you how to get out of the woods, but if you keep listening to that voice, it will lead you off into the woods. It will lead you off into the dark. It will say, hey, the path is way over here. You need to go way off the thing that you thought was a path, and you need to come over here and listen to this fear and this pain and this anguish. You need to follow that path. You'll just be deep, dark in the woods, lonely and scared, okay? I will help you get on the path if you work with me in tech support. All right. So the fear, the fear, the fear. We've got to start working on the fear. So somebody was asking a question that was actually a little fear based. Minouche said, I'd like to know how to ignore proof of my husband's infidelity. Pictures, some of the vocal ones, the vocal recordings of his ex, AP. She sent me at the time I discovered the relationship between them. Oh my gosh. Oh, that one right there is difficult. She said I have pictures of her in her house. We have in the house we have overseas. I wasn't there when he was bringing her into that house, but yeah, he brought her over there. Pictures of her in the car with him. She said I don't want to erase them in case I need them for proof in the future. All of them is on my phone. Thanks so much for your answer. Okay, your brain is telling you that you can't get rid of this stuff for fear. All right. You can absolutely let it go. Unless you plan on divorcing him and it doesn't look like you are, and this will actually help you in the divorce. Because some places it doesn't. Some places it does not help at all if it's no fault or whatever. If it's like, okay, yeah, okay, he cheated, it's not going to give you any extra in the divorce or whatever. If you live in a place like that anyway, it's not going to do you any good. So you can erase it. All right. You can let it go. You can go and erase the part on your phone. You can go into the cloud and erase it off of there. You can make sure that there are no backups, and you can just not have it. I know that your brain is screaming that someday you're going to need it. But the problem with that is you will forget that it's in there, and then you will stumble across it at the time where you're feeling good, where you are working on your healing and you're feeling like, okay, I got this. I'm feeling pretty good. We doing all right. I'm feeling loving. He's acting good. Everything is okay. And then you will come across this evidence and it will ruin all your progress. It will make you feel like you are back at square one because it popped up and hit you in the face because you were trying to keep it and hide it away from yourself, but then you stumble across it again. All right. It is safest to just get rid of it. It is safest to do. It does not give you anything extra unless it is particularly that you can use it in a divorce. Other than that, it does not give you anything. Just because you have evidence, that what does that matter? What is he going to do? Look at it? What is he going to do? Oh, yes, this is me. I did do this. No, he's not going to do that. If he wanted to deny it, he would just deny it. So it's not helping you. It does not do anything being in your phone, being available to you to look at. So get rid of it. But, all right, if you just can't do that, if you were like, I am freaking out that I may need it one day, it may come about that I need this information. I need to go back and look in it and be able to say exactly when something happened, although I would say don't do that either. But I just can't stand the idea that it is erased and it is gone from the planet. Okay, I got something for you for that. Y'all remember the movie The Labyrinth? Labyrinth was my movie. All right. I loved it. And there was at one point that she fell into the oubliette, right? It's called a place of forgetting. All right. I have an oubliette. All right. I have a secure online storage where I can put your stuff. Okay. I can take every bit of evidence that you got. I will put it in a folder for you and it will be in existence. It will be there in the world, but you just won't have it. You got to promise that you go ahead and erase it all. And I do that for $1. It's rental. You can go ahead and get it in there for $1. However, if you do want it back, okay, you have to pay $100. All right. I don't want you to want it back. That's why I make it very, very cheap to put it in and more expensive to take it out because you got to really think about it. Do I want these pictures and this evidence so bad that I'm willing to spend $100 just to get it back, just to see something that's going to hurt me? Most of the time, if somebody takes me up on it, they're like, okay, I'm going to leave it in there. I don't want to hurt that bad that I'm willing to pay to be hurt. Okay. Most of the time, that's the case. So if you are interested, go ahead and hit me up. If you got the evidence and you don't want to look at it anymore, but it's like, how do I just not look at it anymore? You can make it so that you don't have it at all, but it does still exist. It is secure. It is stored. It is in a place where you can access it, but you gotta really, really want to harm yourself to access it. And I'm gonna talk you out of it. Okay, I'm gonna keep on talking to you. Carissa, you said that's brilliant. I had to do something because people were looking at the videos, looking at the pictures. I'm like, dude, you're trying to heal. What are you doing? Why are we looking at this over and over and over again? So yeah, if you work with me before, I will do that for you. I will take every bit of the evidence and put it in the oubliettes, a place of forgetting, and you can get it back, but you got to pay more to get it back. All right. If you really want to hurt yourself that bad, you're going to have to pay for the privilege of hurting your own feelings. All right. Right? So I got that for you. If you were interested, go ahead and hit me up. All right. Maria said, about what you were talking about earlier. I do actually care. I want to understand from his perspective to know what I can do to fix things. But no. We don't need to know what happened from his perspective. All right. To be able to fix things, you have to envision what you want to be fixed and then go in that direction. You're looking backwards at a time where, okay, he was already feeling bad and then he did something stupid. Like, we don't want to go back to that. We understand that that was dumb. We need to catch up to now, and then we need to move forward from here. We can't go back into whatever was causing us pain back then and start unwrapping all of that. We need to start right now and move forward. And then once you get forward some, then it's easier for the two of you to look back together. It's not as scary then because you're not leaving him. You're not going to just walk out once you find out like the layers to what was happening. But it is a lot easier to do that if you've had a little bit of time to heal. You start working on your healing first. Does that make sense? So I got you. Okay, good. So what am I gonna do? But I understand I can't change him. I can only change myself. Exactly. You can only change you, but that's the great part about it is when you change the things around you. When you change and you are different from the pattern that you have been in, every bit of the pattern has to change because your part wasn't the same. You all by yourself affect your future. You just doing something differently than you have been doing will change your future. You don't need to try and understand him first. You can do that all on your own and you can start changing things for the better and then he can catch up. He can get with you later. But we need to start doing that for ourselves because if you keep on giving him the power, you won't do it. If you keep on giving him the power, if you keep on thinking about him and what his perspective is and what he was thinking, it takes your focus off what you are supposed to be doing in this moment. All right. It's very distracting to think about the other person. But if you just focus on yourself and your healing and where you want to go, then it's a lot easier. All right. So y'all let me know if you want my oubliettes or if you want to work with me on tech support. 60 days. It is $397 right now. 60 full days. You're gonna get 2 sessions with me, 2 full-length sessions with me. But in the meantime, you're gonna get texts from me all the time. I can set it up that I remind you. I can send you text messages to remind you to do your deep breathing. I can do that too. And also every day in your email, you're gonna get affirmations and journal prompts from me. Okay, every single day of the 60 days, you will be getting something from me to work on. Even if you don't have anything to talk to me about, to text with me about, you're going to get some encouragement. You're going to get something that you can be working on right now to continue forward momentum. Okay. All right. Any questions, comments, thoughts, complaints? Got any more questions? Anything about the fear? The main thing is don't do what the fear tells you to do. The things that your brain is like screaming to you. I was trying to explain to somebody the other day. She was like, my gut feeling, that he was cheating on me. So now my gut is telling me that he's cheating on me again. And I was like, that's two different feelings though. Your gut feeling, your intuition is quiet enough to ignore. All right. That's the huge difference. Your gut feelings, your intuition, that is a quiet enough voice that it makes you a little uncomfortable, but you can brush it off. You can just go ahead and push it to the side and it's pushed to the side. But that fear that comes up and it clenches your heart and it makes you be like, no, he's cheating on me again. He is. I know he is. I know for certain. Your intuition wasn't certain like that. Your intuition brushed it off. But now you are absolutely certain. That's the difference between those two gut feelings. The gut feeling that is your actual intuition is quieter and can be ignored. The feeling of your fear coming to the surface and screaming at you can't be ignored. You are terrified. You feel bad. You feel horrible inside your body because your body is reacting with that fearful response, with that triggered trauma response. Okay? Carissa, you said, what about asking him, what things can I watch out for with you that would let me know you need help or support? He probably wouldn't know. Okay. First of all, asking him a whole bunch of questions, don't do that. But he probably wouldn't know the answer to that question. You would actually probably know the answer to that question better than he does. Don't you? Like, if you think about it for a second, you could tell me probably 2 or 3 things that you need to watch out for. And you're like, oh, yeah, when he's like this, he's feeling like that. Like, you would probably know better than him because he's not sitting there doing a whole bunch of self-reflecting. That's the whole problem. A lot of these men, they have not done like the self-reflection. They're not thinking about their feelings. A lot of them were told, oh, all you can feel is angry. That's the only feeling that you're allowed to feel. If you're feeling anything else, then you're a bitch. You know what I mean? So then they just kind of suppress all their emotions and they don't think about them. They don't talk about them. So if you're like, oh, well, what can I watch out for to let me know that you're struggling? He probably couldn't tell you. He said, I didn't see it the first time, but I bet I could. Now, I bet you could. I bet you could. Exactly. Because you probably are more aware of it than he is. So just, write down things. When I first realized that there was something actually wrong with my husband, I just started writing it down. I just started like, okay, the pattern starts here. I caught him. He is texting women. He is in people's messages and on Facebook. What is going on with him? And then I started writing it down and like trying to like track what happened after that. And then the next time we got to that point where he was texting with women, I remembered that, oh, wait, this happened before that. And wait. This actually happened first. And then it always tracked back to, oh, he didn't sleep for a couple of days. Come to find out, he's bipolar. So if he doesn't sleep, he starts to get psychotic. And everybody does. So I did not realize that he wasn't sleeping. And so then, like, when I tracked it backwards, I wrote down what I saw as the pattern with him, wrote it down, and like really studied it. And I did it for like a year before I was really seriously like, okay, dude, for real, you've got to go and get checked out. There's something really wrong with you. I tracked it for about a year, and it was like the same cycles over and over and over again through the year. And I knew more about his mental health than he knew because he was in the struggle, and I was just sitting there being a scientist and writing stuff down. So yeah. You said, praise you, Bert. Hey. He took us all to the arcade last night. Oh, yeah, because I remember last time he tried to go to the arcade, he wasn't thrilled about that, right? And was laughing and joking around, even took out his phone and recorded the four of us at one point. Oh, he still went back to her house. That's fine. But we had a real family night. Thank you, God. Such a good feeling. Even if he didn't stay and use a different address on the waiver sign, that's fine. That's fine. We're not going to get all wrapped up in the particulars right now, not in the details. He is moving in your direction. He is, and don't get all excited. Don't start doing cartwheels just yet. Just step back. Let him come to you. Let him close that distance. Because I think that's what happened. You just stopped trying to close that distance all the time, and he was like, "Oh, I missed my whole family. I probably shouldn't have did this. Let me start coming a little closer and closer and closer." So that is what he's doing. Let him do it. Let him come to you. Have great times. Have all types of fun. You be your best, most effervescent, most radiant self when he's around, when you talk to him. But don't be pressing him. Don't be calling him. Don't be trying to get him to come over. Nope, nope, nope. I am here to receive all your good behavior. Come on, do some more good behavior, and I'll reward you with positivity. Right? Okay. Think any other questions? I think that's about it. Last thing that I'm always going to tell you, your fear is going to tell you that you're a terrible person. Your fear is going to tell you that you're ugly, that you're fat, that you're too skinny, that you are not attractive in the way that this woman is attractive. It will tell you all sorts of terrible things about yourself, and you absolutely have to stop listening to that, okay? We need to really be focusing on getting our affirmations together and saying good things about ourselves. Because when we do that, we are again creating new neural pathways, creating new ideas inside of our brain. And so when we do our affirmation, when we look ourselves in the eye, in your camera, in your bathroom mirror, wherever it is that you're doing this, saying be patient. Yes, I am. Nice and patient, cool, calm, and collected, and queenly while you're doing it. Be as regal as you possibly can. All right. And that's another thing. You gotta be thinking good things about yourself. You need to be projecting wonderful things about yourself from inside to the outside. It is a glamour. If you know, if you know the craft or whatever, you are projecting your inside outside. You are projecting the goodness, the love, the wonderful stuff out. All right. And so if you're doing your affirmations, you are creating more of that image on the inside to project. Okay. So give you an affirmation today. Look yourself in the eye. Say the affirmation like you mean it. Say it like it is the most true thing you have ever said in your entire life. Say it like it is gospel. Say it like it is sacred, that you know this thing about yourself. And your brain will record you saying that. And so every single time your brain says, well, you're so stupid for letting him back in your life, you come back with your affirmation. No, I am not. That is not what I am. I am a woman who knows exactly what I want and this affirmation about myself. All right. So for today's affirmation, oh, yeah. Today I am confident. Today I am who I am, and I am capable of doing anything that I put my mind to. Isn't that what I was talking about? Isn't that what I was talking about a little earlier? You got to make up your mind about what you want to do. Don't worry about outside influences. Get in contact with what you want first. Get yourself in alignment with that and see, don't that change your life? Okay. You are worried about outside influences. That is the wrong place to put your attention and your energy. You need to focus your energy on what you want to do and then getting yourself aligned with who you would be if that life came to pass. Okay. So today I am confident. Today I am who I am, and I am capable of doing anything that I put my mind to. I like that one. I would say that one from myself. Kirsty, you said thank you. This weekly shot on the arm sure helps. I'm so glad it does because I want you to remember that this is a situation that so many women go through. And yes, it can be different. They come back all the time. They realize they were idiots all the time. Okay. And you are right. All right. You are right about your love. You are right about this person. If you believe that this is the person that you're going to be with, I believe you too. I think that you're absolutely correct. I don't think that you're just losing your mind. I think that's real. All right. I answered your question a little bit earlier. I was telling about the oubliette. If you want to forget about everything, you can go back and look at it in a minute. But if you don't want to see everything that you've got, I have secure storage for it. It's $1. The oubliette, I can put it in my secure storage, and you don't have to have it. You will not stumble across it, but you can get it back. You can get it back if you really, really need it for something in particular, or if you really just want to hurt your own feelings again, you can get it back, but it's $100 to get it out. So it's $1. You give me $1, I will take it. I will put it in my secure storage. It's got plenty of space. But to get it back, you got to give 100. If you really want to hurt your own feelings, you're going to have to pay for it. Okay? All right. So I talked about a little bit more about it, but you can go back and check it out. All right, so y'all, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. I want you to remember some things. We're working on this trauma. So do your deep breathing 5 times a day. Do your journaling twice a day, 5 minutes. That's all you really need, or as needed. You can sprinkle in other times in there, but don't exhaust yourself from journaling. Develop an attitude of gratitude. Try and find the silver lining, as Marie said. Try and find the good thing, the thing that you can be grateful for in the bad things, so that your brain will stop looking for the bad things so much, and stop asking all those questions. Stop asking all those questions. Try not to ask any questions at all this week if you can. Go for a statement instead of a question. If you can't make it a statement, rethink about what you're trying to talk about. See if there is another way that you can say it. And if you can't say it in any other way, it is just an interrogation. Write it down in your journal. Come back, think about it later. And love yourself. Affirm that you are beautiful, wonderful, lovely, talented, sweet, radiant, effervescent queens, goddesses on this planet. Understand that that's who you are and just run with that. Don't try and be less than the goddess that you are every day. Affirm that that's who you are and behave in that way every day. Okay? All right. That's about it, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. I'll be back again next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see. I love you. And I'm so, so proud of you for trying on unconditional love. I know this is difficult, but I am here for you. I have tech support. It is going. It is up and running. $3.97 for 2 full months of assistance, or you can get in on the oubliette for $1. All right. All right, y'all. That's it. I will talk to you again next week. Bye over here on Instagram. And I say bye to you over here on Facebook and YouTube.